nearly 800 million kilometers from the Sun. A small world circles the largest planet in the solar system. By every reasonable guess, it should be a frozen, cratered, dead gray rock. For 15 years after we first photographed it up close, we almost missed what it truly was. The clue was sitting in a picture no scientist was even meant to study. A faint glow on the edge of the disk, a flaw everyone could have wiped away. That flaw turned out to be the most violent place we have ever seen. On the morning of March 9th, 1979, a young navigation engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Linda Morabito, was working through the lowest priority images from the Voyager 1 flyby of Jupiter. These were not glamour shots. They were navigation frames, long exposures taken only to fix the spacecraft's exact position against the background stars. Routine, disposable. To bring out those faint stars, she stretched the contrast, and a shape rose off the edge of Io, a vast, faint, umbrella-shaped cloud, towering some 300 kilometers above the surface. Her first thought was sober. It had to be another moon, hiding just behind Io. But when she checked, no known body could be in that spot. Every safe explanation fell away. What was left was something no one had ever recorded. A volcano erupting on another world. The first active volcanism ever found beyond Earth. The source was later named Pele, after the goddess of fire. The moon had been named long before, by Galileo in 1610, after a figure from Greek myth. Io was a mortal woman desired by Jupiter, king of the gods. To possess her, he never let her rest. Hounded and driven across the world without pause, she could never escape the god who circled her life. 4 billion years later, the moon named for her does exactly the same thing. It cannot rest either. Jupiter will not let it. And that, as we will see, is the whole story. Io is about the size of our own moon and orbits Jupiter once every 42.5 hours, terrifyingly close to the giant. That alone is dangerous, but proximity is only half the trap. Further out orbit two sister moons, Europa and Ganymede. Their orbits lock with Io's in a precise rhythm for every 4 laps Io makes. Europa makes 2 and Ganymede 1, a 4-2-1 resonance. That rhythm keeps tugging Io's orbit out of a perfect circle into an oval. So as it races around Jupiter, its distance keeps changing, and the giant's grip keeps changing with it. The result is tidal flexing. On Earth, the moon lifts the oceans by half a meter. On Io, Jupiter lifts the solid ground by as much as 100 meters, kneading the whole moon like a fist around a rubber ball. All that kneading generates friction, and friction makes heat. Enough heat to melt rock deep inside. Io is being cooked alive by the planet it can never leave. The heat has to escape, and it does, violently. Io is the most volcanically active world in the solar system, with up to 400 volcanoes erupting across its surface. Without plate tectonics, the lava simply bursts out of cracks torn open by the endless flexing. Plumes of sulfur gas climb hundreds of kilometers into space. Far higher than the moon itself is wide. Now look at Io's face. It looks like a pizza, left too long in the oven yellow, white, scarlet, and a sickly green. For years, no one knew why. Each color is a clue. The yellow is sulfur, frozen into snow. The white is sulfur dioxide, locked in the coldest shadows. The green is sulfur monoxide, where Jupiter's radiation hits the atmosphere. And the red is fresh, a volcano that erupted moments ago, still hot. So the moon paints itself, over and over, in the chemistry of its own eruptions, beautiful and lethal. Outside the eruptions, though, the cold of deep space rules. The surface plunges below minus 130 degrees Celsius. Fire and ice, side by side, on the same small world. Where the surface collapses instead, molten rock floods in to form vast lava lakes. The largest, Loki Patera, is 200 kilometers across, a churning sea of fire, bigger than many countries on Earth. Then there are the mountains, and they make no sense at all. Io has towering, isolated peaks, the tallest rising some 17 kilometers, nearly twice the height of Mount Everest. But these are not volcanic cones, and there are no mountain ranges, none, just lone peaks, stabbing straight up out of the crust at random. Whatever made them did not make them slowly. So where did they come from? When lava drains out, the surface collapses in one spot, and that downward pressure pushes a nearby patch of rock the other way, shoving it straight up. Imagine if every time a sinkhole opened on Earth, a brand new mountain just popped up right next to it. And that is pretty much what's going on here. The result is unlike any mountain you have ever seen. And it has been happening for billions of years. For 44 years, one question hung over Io. Was all that lava fed by a single global ocean of magma, sloshing beneath the crust, or by something more scattered? In late 2023 and early 2024, NASA's Juno spacecraft dived to within 1,500 kilometers of Io's surface, measuring how the moon's gravity tugged on the probe with extreme precision. A global magma ocean would deform the whole moon in a way Juno could feel. A field of separate chambers would not. In December 2024, the answer was published in Nature. There is no global ocean. Instead, each of Io's hundreds of volcanoes is fed by its own private chamber of molten rock. Not one furnace, but hundreds of separate engines, each roaring to its own rhythm beneath the surface. Today, new probes are crossing the solar system toward Jupiter, Europe's JUICE and NASA's Europa Clipper. But both are bound for the icy moons next door, chasing hidden oceans and the hope of life. No mission is heading for Io, the most volcanic world we know. The one that taught us volcanoes could burn beyond Earth is for now left behind. Too violent for life, and so passed over. We began with a glow on a throwaway photograph, a flaw that was almost erased. We end with a world turning itself inside out, kneaded and cooked by the giant it can never escape, painting itself in fire. Like the woman in the myth, Io cannot rest, and like that first faint smudge on a navigation frame, Its greatest secrets were hiding in the very places we almost threw away. Because the greatest discoveries can hide inside the things we overlook. Tino Space. See you in the next world.